Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This
is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Monday, 11th of August, 2025. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Locals, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on Facebook, you got like 7 choices, but pick the heart.
Whatever. Not that we're telling you what to do or how to live your life, but
No,
pick the heart.
the heart's amazing.
Yeah. It's what people like. Anyways. all right,
Anyway.
listen what we like.
Let's say hi to the fam.
Or give us a thumbs down. I don't care. It's all engagement.
Yeah, it is engagement.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to, whatever.
If you want to.
Let's say hi to the fam. We got Fire in the house.
Hey, Fire Nate, what's going on, man?
Let's see. We got Chad in the house.
What's up, Chad?
Got
Grand
Chachi in the
Rising.
house.
Hey, Chachi.
We got Silver in the house.
Hey, Silver.
We got Aaron in the house.
Here's Aaron. What's going on, man?
Aaron showing off, saying hi to everybody.
Yeah, I know. There he is.
Let's see. Is there anyone else?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's other
there's
people.
Carol.
There's Carol.
Hey, Miss Carol. And there's Miss Dawn. We
Mhm.
love you both.
You got Silver, right?
Yeah. We're glad to be here too.
Glad to be seen. Don't forget Liberty. He just showed up.
Hey, Liberty.
What's up, Liberty? What's going on?
Where's Liberty?
Pam showing up. He just showed up. Oh, it didn't show up on the Who's
It
here.
didn't show up on the chat.
No, it didn't. What the hell's that
I'm
about?
having a great Monday.
Yeah, for a
I hope
Monday.
everybody's having a great Monday.
I think everybody's having a better Monday because Mercury is no longer in retrograde. Yay!
Yeah, right. Crazy.
And the full moon's over
Crazy.
too.
Yeah, and the full moon's over. Thanks.
So I know our first
goodness.
responders are happy about that one.
Right? Ugh, so awful.
Yay! Into the full moon.
Yeah. So over that,
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to jump right in?
might as well. We got a lot to do.
Oh, he's incognito.
Oh,
There he is. Okay.
There you are.
Super spy.
What's going on, man? So
Speaking of our
weird.
super spy, where's Mike?
Yeah, where's our mic?
Where's Mike at?
I don't know.
Whatever. He'll show up when he's ready.
Yeah.
He'll let us know of his presence when he's ready.
Yes, he will. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Why isn't that adding to the stage?
I don't know. Why don't you add it to the stage? See, it works just fine for
Okay.
me.
All right. Would you read that, please?
Certainly. Oh, got to put this on the right way. There we go. Touch my eyeballs here. Now I got to clean it. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz reveals disturbing detail about his AIPAC sponsored trip to Israel.
Let's listen.
I went on that AIPAC trip. I went on subsequent trips, and there is an actual downward pressure from the leadership and even the committee chairs. Like if you're on the Foreign Affairs Committee, if you're on the Armed Services Committee, if you're on the Intelligence Committee, there's like an expectation that you go there and some sort of like, I don't know, congressional Hajj. And I remember being at I'll never go back. I was at the King David Hotel, and I rolled back to my room unexpectedly when the rest of the group was still on some planned activity. And there was some dude in my room. I'm like, hey, man, what are you doing here? And he acted like he was associated with the hotel and taking an inventory, but had no clipboard. And so, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why they want members of Congress over there. And it is ideologically to steep them in this notion that the protection of Israel is of great import to people in America. But it's really not that important to voters. And that is becoming more clear on the right and left.
All right. So it sounds like things are actually being talked about now that haven't been talked about before. And that is that you're kind of pressured to do an AIPAC trip, and that it seemed like there may have possibly, by implication, been some kind of an effort to be paying attention to what's going on inside the room. And then, who knows? I mean, why would people go into your room that not necessarily staff of the hotel? And even then, they only go into your room at least once a day. So,
Right.
yeah, a little weird stuff going on. But I think that should be something that would be expected for anybody that is a member of Congress, that you can just assume that everything is going to be bugged and that there's going to be some attempt to get some dirt on you so that way you can be controlled. Surprise. Whatever.
You ready?
Yeah,
Would you read that, please?
certainly. Marjorie Taylor Greene on AIPAC's attacks. Bring it on, she says.
Let's listen.
All right.
Americans work their ass off every day and pay their taxes and come home and they're living paycheck to paycheck and their credit cards are maxed out. I don't care anymore. I honestly don't care. So I'll burn this bridge to the ground and I will let the flames light the way. And because this is a fight that needs to happen. And I'll tell you why, Matt. It's because pretty much if you're under the age of 40, you have no hope for the future. We're $37 trillion in debt. People can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford rent. They can't afford insurance. They can't afford their bills. And we have HB1 visas stealing all these American jobs. And I'm sick and tired and fed up with it. So if AIPAC, who donates, by the way, to more Democrats than Republicans, as a matter of fact, they're all for Democrats, but they do donate to Republicans as well. But listen, if AIPAC wants to come after me and accuse me of betraying my American values, AIPAC, you know what? You can bring it on. I am totally ready for this. And this is a fight that I will fight and I will give it my all. And I can guarantee you, you're going to lose because America is fed up, Matt. They're fed up to here with funding foreign wars, funding foreign causes, funding foreign countries for foreign reasons that have nothing to do with Americans.
Thoughts?
All right. So it's sounds like it's more people standing up to AIPAC, which is something that we haven't heard. And we're starting to hear more and more of it. Now, granted, it's Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, but those two have been quite faithful to their American oath, their job as part of being elected officials, representatives of this nation. Now, I know Matt Gaetz isn't anymore, but they couldn't say it before, but they're certainly saying it now, which tells me that there's something that's changed in the background that they would even be able to say these kinds of things. MTG, she's talking pretty tough right there, which tells me that she kind of has the ability or the freedom with which to do that I don't think that she had before. Again, more stuff in the background that we don't have specifics on, but it sure does seem like there's something that's happened. What's up, Sheriff Hector? Thanks for joining.
How about some Kelly?
Yeah, we could go for some Kelly.
Let's
Kelly's good. Kelly's always good.
Have you ever heard someone say, I'm just a sinner saved by grace? What? Stop saying that. Did you forget? You're not a sinner anymore. If you're in Christ, you're a new creation.
As he
And
wears
now
a sinner
you're
shirt.
the righteousness of God through Christ. Yeah, you still stumble. But stumbling is a behavior. Identity is blood bought. I mean, think about it like this. I wore a lab coat to a Halloween party. Nobody let me do heart surgery. Weird. Shoot, I've even killed a houseplant. Or 10. That doesn't make me a botanist or a serial of ficus. So why do we talk like a sin after we've been saved means our name tag says, hi, I'm a sinner. Newsflash, hell doesn't own the naming rights to what heaven purchased. The gospel didn't slap a refurbished sticker on your corpse. It resurrected you. Romans 6 says the old you was crucified with Christ, dead and buried. And Ephesians 4:24 says, you've got a new self created in true righteousness and holiness. Make no mistake about it, my friends. That's who you are. Now, do Christians still sin? Of course we do. I mean, you probably sinned 2 or 3 times just while watching this video. 1 John 1:8 tells us we're not pretending perfection. But 1 Corinthians 6:11 says, you were washed, sanctified, and justified. Did you catch the trend? Those were past tense because your identity, my friends, has been changed. You're brand new. And we can't be so quick to forget. Words matter. Proverbs 18:21 tells us life and death are in the power of the tongue. If you want to keep calling yourself a sinner, don't be too shocked or surprised when your life takes the exit labeled same old mess. I mean, you get it, right? You keep prophesying your past over your future. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. I get it. That sounds humble, but it's not. It's not. It's just unbelief with a halo. Humility agrees with God. Pride argues with him about what he's already paid for. I mean, come on. If the Father says you're righteous, why do you keep claiming to just be trash with a ticket to heaven? So let me encourage you today. Retire your pity merch and toss the sinner name tag because you are a saint who sometimes sins. You're not a sinner who sometimes saints. There's a difference between an eagle with mud on its feathers and a pig in a puddle. Same mud, different nature. Stop owning your old identity. Don't frame it, don't feed it, and don't introduce yourself with it. Jesus didn't walk out of the tomb so that you could crawl right back in it. You're not just a sinner saved by grace, my friends. You are a blood-bought, spirit-filled, righteousness-wearing son or daughter of the King. That's who you are. And think about that for a minute.
Ah, there it is on the back. Forgiven. Well, I guess, Silver, you figured that one out, huh? So, obviously, it was a good way to I guess, show the meaning behind the shirt that he's wearing. And really, it is an amazing perspective that we need to remember. We need to stop calling ourselves sinners. We need to say that we are forgiven.
It's like
That makes so much more sense.
recovering alcoholic saying I'm a recovering alcoholic. You're
You're
still
saying-
saying you're an alcoholic.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Miss Steph. We love
Hey,
you.
Steph. Thanks for joining. Good evening. Anyway, yeah, you know what? I'm forgiven. And that's a much better way to say it. And it sounds a whole lot better. It really does. It feels better just saying that I'm forgiven as opposed to calling myself a sinner, which I was, and I know that I still do. I'm not perfect, like he said.
Right.
I'm not, free of sin anymore, but I am forgiven. And that's because
We did judge before we knew what he was doing.
yeah, well,
So
good
he
point.
was right. We did sin during that video.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that.
So there's that. I hate it when he's right.
Yeah,
He's always right, it seems like.
it happens. It happens.
Okay, you have the next one.
It's a good
sir.
thing I'm forgiven.
I know.
All right. Let's see. All right. Looks like we got another video for y'all. Let me go ahead and get this up. I know that people are going to be asking about this. Trump deploys National Guard to D.C., federalizes the police. And now there's no sound. Here we go. Let's rewind this again.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. And you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. At your direction.
All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch over to this one, in which case I'm trying to hold my temper. MSNBC contributor expresses his impotent rage over Trump's D.C. crime crackdown. Let's going to skip through this a little bit. MSNBC contributor Eddie Glaude, I think I said that right, said he was refraining from losing his temper. Congratulations for getting control of your emotions ish. Let's see. He's upset about the fact of basically declaring this kind of emergency or whatever. So let's see him not blow his gasket.
What if your joint pain?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Isn't from age.
Get rid of the sound on
Isn't
that.
from wear and tear.
Yeah,
but from something.
Yeah, whatever.
Chris, to be honest with you, I'm trying to hold my temper. I think there's an ongoing argument that he's having in his head with Black Lives Matter. There's an ongoing argument that he's having with the questions around criminal justice reform and police reform. It's interesting that he really doesn't really care about what's actually happening in DC on a certain level, because he's not trying to get at the underlying root causes. He's not looking at examples of how to address rising crime rates that doesn't require a form of policing that leads to increased incarcerality and the like. Let's look at what's going on in Baltimore. Let's look at what's happening actually in places like Baltimore and Chicago, right? So part of what we have to do is to understand, and Oakland, we have to understand this, Chris, within the context of Donald Trump's racial politics and within the context of his effort to get Epstein off the front pages. I understand David's point, but when we try to treat this as a rational response, then we lose sight of the actual politics that's being played here. And he's actually trying to give his base red meat to get them off of the Epstein story, and it's on the backs of citizens in Washington, D.C. He's going to undermine the democratic process in the district.
All right, that's enough of that. So before we move on to another one, let's just go ahead and
There's Mike.
There's Mike. What's going on, Mike? Thanks for joining, brother. Let's see. Okay, Chachi says Dems, lefties, and all their allies are screwed. This is worldwide now. Nowhere to hide any longer. I agree.
And Aaron had a good point too. Let me find it. Hold on.
Can read Trump's mind?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so while you're finding that, I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, Aaron, you hit a point there that he's, this guy's a mind reader all of a sudden. Aaron, okay, so he also follows up. This will be a blueprint for all sanctuary cities. I see that as well. It is historic. It is a historic moment, and it is big. It's basically taking over Washington, D.C. But Washington, D.C. has been such a problem. And he says that it's not addressing crime. How is it not addressing crime? What on earth did he expect? D.C. has had one of the worst crime rates in the nation. It's something that has needed to have been dealt with for a long time. Tons of corruption in D.C. We were able to see that during January 6th and all the things that went along surrounding all of the January 6th Fedsurrection. So, yeah, of course he's upset because his team is losing. And what does that mean? It seems like if his team loses, that he's probably going to lose a lot bigger than he really wants to. Makes me wonder, whoever this guy is, what exactly does he stand to lose in all of this? Why would he not appreciate this other than the fact that he's just going, yay, Team Blue? More of that team politics that isn't beneficial to this nation. So, as President Trump does this, and as the city will get cleaned up, it's something that we'll see. But I would say that there is a group of people who really do have a good say and a good like idea of what the pulse in Washington D.C. is, and that's the D.C. Police Union. They say that we stand with the president. D.C. Police Union backs Trump's capital city crime crackdown. And I'm going to go ahead and go through this a little bit. The union, in a statement to Fox 5, said it, quote, acknowledges and supports President Trump's announcement, more words, to assume temporary control of the MPD, Metropolitan Police Department of the District of Columbia, in response to the escalating crime crisis, end quote. Union Chairman Greg Pemberton said in a statement to WUSA that the nation's capital cannot continue on its current trajectory with crime out of control and its police officers stretched beyond their limits. Now, that is probably one of the key points right there. The police union is saying that the union is stretched beyond its limits. Well, that's what the National Guard is for. The National Guard was called in during, obviously, Biden's takeover of the union. And if you were paying attention, you saw that the 21 gun salute was for a funeral or foreign dignitaries. So, way deep into the conspiracy theory stuff there. So it's not the first time President Trump has called in the National Guard, but here we are again, and it's being done to deal with the crime. And the police union is saying that this is what is needed. Mike says, we know from the J6, the Capitol Police is corrupt. Some of them, but I think that there's been a lot of house cleaning in the meantime. I think that house cleaning in D.C. for some of those other leadership within the police community there, if there's a cleanup there, probably not going to make national news. But also at the same time, with the National Guard going in, I have a feeling that they are enforcing law out there that it's going to make sure that it gets cleaned up a little bit better than it was before. Also, I think this is a preparatory thing. Who was it that said that the other sanctuary cities? Aaron said the sanctuary cities. I do believe that this will probably happen in the other sanctuary cities as well before the real deal comes out. But it certainly sounds like it's getting a lot closer to the truth coming out, and we start seeing some perp walks here real quick, like, because it's been getting pretty newsy lately. Chachi says, don't forget how DC got set up and betrayed by the Dems during J6 as well. Yeah. 100%. The DC cops, they did get set up because we know that they were a lot of the instigators were paid by the FBI as informants or something like that. If I might have the words wrong.
Yeah.
But it's something that certainly shows that things are changing. Aaron says, to the credit of police, I will say I'm reading more and more about how the really corrupt ones are starting to lose their jobs and in some occasions getting charged on a municipal level. And I think that we're going to start to see more of that. It's been a few months now that President Trump has been in office, and Kash Patel has been at the helm of the Federal Bureau of Investigation with the assistance of, I just have a brain fart here. What's his name?
Who?
Bongino.
Bongino.
Thank you. I just needed you to look at me, and apparently it just came to me. Anyway, so Bongino they're both doing some cleaning house, not only within the FBI, but the FBI's job, one of them is to look for corrupt police officers. I think that's happening. And I think that more and more of these people are getting backed into a corner. They don't have a choice. And so it's slowly but surely, they're taking chips out of the armor that they have. And once they get to that point, it's all over. We're just, it's only a matter of time now is what it's really starting to look like. Steph says that mayor, she was just ridiculous in her little speech she gave today. I did not see her speech, but probably for the better, because it would have been ridiculous to listen to.
Yeah.
Mm.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. So I'm saying that this is, the
No,
left
you're
is
not
going
ready.
to,
Okay,
yeah, you're
well.
right. I'm not ready. Yeah, I'm going to say that, that this is very good news. Obviously, the left whining about it tells us that President Trump is making some big moves that they really weren't hoping for. But they're not going to have anywhere to go. I mean, after DC is taken away from the swamp creatures, that's pretty much it. There's like nowhere to go. Hope your dual citizenship works out for you. But it sounds like now that AIPAC is getting schwacked by some of our representatives or former representatives, that they're running out of places to try to hide behind.
Oh, where?
No, I know, not concerning me. These people weren't concerned about all the murders and everything that were going on before. Why are they concerned now that there's going to be less?
Right.
I mean, come on, clowns. Ha.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready now.
All right. How about some Craig?
Yeah, Craig's good.
The good news is that our good God has a way of bringing good things even out of wrong turns. That's how good he is. That's how good he is. I should have never dated him. No, you shouldn't have. The fact that his middle name was Satan was a good indicator that you shouldn't have dated him. But now you understand what a godly man should look like. And when God brings you one who cherishes you and honors you, you'll recognize it and you'll be grateful. I should have never trusted that person. I got burned so bad. Oh, it hurts so bad. But now you're learning to forgive. You're becoming more like Jesus. I should have never done that. It's such a big mistake. It cost me so much. And oh, you understand God's grace like you never have before. He's good enough to work through our wrong turns. My life story, my right destination was based on a lot of wrong turns. Wrong friends, wrong environment, wrong entertainment, wrong girls. I became the wrong guy, ended up in the wrong places, and a lot of wrong turns led me to seek the right person whose name was Jesus, who forgave my sins, who made me new, who transformed my heart, who changed the direction of my life. And oh, there was a scenic detour, but it didn't stop me from getting to the destination. If there's anyone here who's ever messed up or partied too hard, hey, I can actually relate to you. It wasn't a waste. It was a wrong turn that now God can use in his ways. He's that good.
Thoughts?
All right. So I can relate to that definitely. I made a lot of wrong choices. It took a lot of wrong turns. But it was because of those bad choices and because of those wrong turns that made me finally figure out that I had to change. And it was only until things got bad enough that I said, all right, God, I am clearly making all of the wrong moves, and I have a woman who loves me. You finally gave me somebody because I stopped trying to listen to whatever else, and you showed me a good person, and I desired to be a better man because you gave me a great woman. And I think that I had to get to that moment. I don't think it could have happened any other way. It's almost as if I wasn't writing my own story. And so therefore, I am grateful to God for all of my allowing me that latitude, I guess, to be able to make those wrong turns. So that way I could understand that it wasn't my intelligence, it wasn't my wisdom that was making, the life that I wanted. It was bringing me to the life that I did not want. And so therefore, praise be to God, he showed me a better way. And I want to cling to him more. And I will say this, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I didn't choose God. He chose me. And I'm blessed. Anyways, God uses people for sure, without a doubt, without a
Without
doubt.
And
Oh,
I say
and-
this all the time,
Mhm.
and I cannot say it enough. God is not done writing your story. Trust the author. Stop trying to steal the pen.
Mhm.
Family, please.
So,
There's Hope.
Hey,
There's
Hope.
the new grandma.
Hi, new grandma. All right, I gotta put this one up here. Steph, it was funny. Y'all should go listen to that mayor when you get a minute. She's nuts. We're all filled up here with nuts and crazy. I don't need any more. But thank you. I do appreciate. I guess if I need the entertainment, then we'll have to go check her out.
Right.
God's good about showing up right on time, Santino. We just have to listen. Yeah, I got small ears, but yeah, I'm learning how to use them better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, guys, if you haven't seen Hope's new grandbaby, she is absolutely, absolutely beautiful. When I say that God makes perfect people, he made a perfect child right there. Just absolutely beautiful.
100%.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. All right. Scott Jennings spanks panel that clearly wants President Trump to fail with Russia and Ukraine. What? CNN wants the president to fail? Say it isn't so.
I know, right?
Okay.
Let's listen.
Let's listen.
It's pretty much a disaster on all fronts, and it's a pretty shameful episode in American diplomacy, in my opinion.
Yeah, Scott, I see you want to get in there. What?
Well, they haven't even met yet. And, you know, he's been trying for months to get a meeting like this scheduled to try to bring the killing to an end, which we should all hope and pray for, A. B, he's been pretty tough on the Russians lately.
Really?
C, he's been in pretty close contact with Zelensky.
Do you want him to start launching nukes,
And
clown?
The reality is this has to end at some point, and the only way it is ever going to end is if both parties feel like they won. They're never going to send, the reality is you're never going to see Vladimir Putin take a knee and wave a white flag, and you don't want Zelensky to do that either. This has to end in a way where both parties feel like it was a negotiation that they can walk away from and tell their people, we got out of this
So how does
in
that
the
matter
best possible
with
way.
Trump being with Putin and not Zelensky, leaving Zelensky out of
How
it?
do you know they're not in touch with Zelensky?
Well,
They're
he did.
prejudging this as a failure a week before the meeting even happens is
I mean, we sit at
totally
the table and
irresponsible.
prejudge.
No,
We
it's
actually get paid
it's
to prejudge.
accurate, and it's
Listen.
actually very
And what's the
predictable.
alternative? Just to let them go on
so
for
No,
let me
the
just-
alternative is to support the
nobody wants-
Ukrainians.
Sure, I want the war to end too, but do I think Vladimir Putin is going to get us to liberty and freedom?
Well, wait,
No.
let me play this out actually. So you think we cannot negotiate with Putin? Who are we supposed to talk to? There's two
The
parties in the war.
Ukrainians are supposed to
We are
negotiate
talking
with
to
the
Zelensky.
Russians.
They have been talking. We have been providing weapons to the Ukrainians. We cut a deal to do it through NATO, which was a good thing. We have the relationship channel open with the Ukrainians. In order to end this, there's no one else to talk to unless you want to invade Russia and overthrow the government. But I don't think anybody wants to do that. That's the only player on the field. We're not siding with anyone. We're trying to end a war.
No,
between
Trump
two
is
parties.
obviously taking the Russian position.
Was he siding with the Russians when he cut a deal with NATO to put more weapons into Ukraine? Didn't sound like it to
He
me.
was siding with the Russians, put us on the wrong side of the Russia-Ukraine war, and that's a disgrace, Scott. And we should all be able
We
to see that.
literally just cut a deal with NATO to put hundreds of millions of dollars worth of weapons in the hands of the Ukrainians.
not a
We are not
consistent
on the
policy.
Russian side. We are on the side of trying to get
I'm
a
not
peace
saying Trump has a
agreement.
consistent policy.
Thoughts?
Okay. Who was the
I don't know who that douchebag
dude
was.
with the purple tie? Does anybody know who that was with the purple tie? I don't know his name, but I got to look him up. But he sure seems like he really wants to get into a war. Well, you know what? You first, tough guy. You know, if you want to get into a war so bad, then you know what? Sign right up. As a matter of fact, I think Ukraine's taking people from all over the world. You should run right over there and show us how it's done. Why do we need to get into a world war with Russia? Because you want to protect the most corrupt nation in all of Europe. And how much ass kissing should we do of the Ukrainians? And how are we on the wrong side? Who made you the determiner of what is the right and wrong thing to do, as NATO and all of our allies have moved all across what used to be the Iron Curtain and moved, clear up to Russia's border? So please Tell me, are we the bad guys or are we the good guys? Why are we doing so good by encircling Russia even more? And you tell me how you'd feel if you were encircled. I don't think that you'd be standing up as well as Scott Jennings is. So good luck to you, tough guy. I'd love to hear your opinion sometimes. It would be so nice to get some of these people on this show so that way I could actually ask them some real questions that they're not covered by on their little circle jerk called CNN.
We have some great comments.
Chachi says, seems like they get new people to get flogged publicly by Scott Jennings every day. That's a good point. Selective hearing activated. These are great comments. You don't want anybody's leader to look weak. Just my opinion, because then everybody will try to run you over. And I don't understand. It's like, what exactly does he expect us to? What does he expect Trump to do? He didn't offer any advice.
Right.
We should be doing this. Probably because he knows that his opinions would suck.
Yeah. Fire agrees with you. So does Don.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, he wants war. You can absolutely tell. He's a lefty. Sadly, they do seem to be the real war hawks, and I don't understand that. I thought it was always the Republicans that were the war hawks and the Democrats that were the doves, the hawks and the doves, from the 60s. Come on, man. Anyways, Silver says he's probably from Langley, Virginia, the farm. That's not in Langley. It's somewhere else. Anyways, Santino, they would not come on here. They're too afraid of the hard questions.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd have hard questions.
Yes, you would.
I know. I just have hard opinions.
You'd have hard questions too, and they'd cry. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
All right, here we go. Good. Scott Jennings again. Scott Jennings wonders why nobody can say why Hamas won't release the hostages.
Let's listen.
That's a good question.
He's been on fire, man.
Man, Scott Jennings, I'd love to meet that dude.
I know.
That would be amazing.
Let's listen.
Get him, Scott. Get him.
The news is that Israel is planning to go in there and finally, hopefully, completely eliminate Hamas. And they don't want to hold it. They want to go there long enough to get
Look at that stink face.
And install a civilian government and leadership there that's livable for both the Palestinian people and for the Israelis. There's no future for the Palestinians, and there's no future for the Israelis as long as Hamas still exists. And so that's the plan. The Israeli War Cabinet approved the plan today, and I hope they go in there, and I hope it's fast, but I hope they do what they need to do, because the situation, if Hamas remains, that's not a tenable situation for Israel, and it shouldn't be really for us or anyone else in the Middle East.
But do Republicans support him on this issue?
Yes.
And do you think that they're supportive of continued support of a military intervention, of the Americans supporting Israeli military action?
Again, we're not there. It's Israel fighting the war.
But it's
Israel was
money,
attacked. Israel is defending itself. Israel is fighting the war.
And President
we support
Trump
our
campaigned
ally.
on ending wars, is what I'm getting
Yeah, and the only way to end it, and the only way to get a ceasefire, you said, why doesn't Israel just agree to a ceasefire? Why doesn't Hamas just agree to a ceasefire?
Well,
why don't they just release the hostages? Why don't they do what they're supposed to do? Because they don't want it, Josh, and you know it. They don't want it, and it will never end until they are completely and totally cleaned out. That's the only way it ends.
First of all, they don't think it's impossible, like you just said. And there's a very simple
How many
reason.
ceasefires has Hamas walked away from?
How many have they
Time
achieved?
after
How many have
time
Israel walked
after
away from?
time.
I'm not saying
Why
it's easy.
don't they release the hostages?
Hamas.
Why
You say
can no
that
one answer
Hamas
this
is
question?
part of
What
Hamas.
Netanyahu has said today is they would like to eliminate Hamas and turn the region over to an Arab-led occupation
there
and a
could be a two-state solution.
civilian a civilian-run
If
government.
the state is not run
It
by Hamas,
cannot
there
be
could be a
Hamas. There
two-state.
can be no Hamas. That is their position.
There-
I was there recently. I talked to a lot of people who were in the IDF, had just been serving, had been in rotation. It's been incredibly hard on them. It's been incredibly hard on their families. This has been really, really hard on Israeli society. But so was October the 7th. I'll tell you the thing that I learned when I was over there, from the most liberal Israelis that I met to the most conservative, the people who love Netanyahu to the people who hate him, the resolve among the people of Israel to not live next to these terrorists anymore is really, really high. And you asked earlier, does this put the hostages in danger? Hamas puts the hostages in danger. Have we showed the video of these starving hostages one time? They're in danger already.
Thoughts?
Actually, I want to touch on what Steph said there. Trump just ended 5 wars. They don't even tell you about that. Yeah, I know. Because if they talk about that, then they're going to sound like the mockingbird media that they are. It's yeah, whatever. Anyways, so Scott Jennings brings up some amazing points that are really true. Hamas, how long have they been designated a terrorist organization?
Forever.
Weren't they part of TWA hijacking back in like the 80s? I don't know. I have to look that one up, but I think it was Hamas that was involved
Absolutely, Steph. Go ahead.
in that. Kay, I can put a post in here about the 5 wars. It's from Trump. Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
So hey,
Oh, good.
Danielle, how are you? Hope everything's going good. And then Left Lane showed up. Hey, Left Lane, thanks for joining. Okay, so keep in mind that these are the same people that say from the sea to the river to the sea, or something like that. In other words, they want to eradicate Israel from the map. No. I don't support that. I don't support that at all. Do I appreciate the way Israel's been going about this war? Well, no, because that's not how we war so much anymore. But that's us, the United States. Look at how big Israel is. And if I'm not mistaken, they're surrounded by enemies, people that don't want them there. So, yeah, they're going to play a little bit different than everybody else, and it should be expected because they're fighting war the way you go to war. And that's, you know what? We're playing to win. We're not playing to, make new friends. It's like, no, we're not playing this game. You are going to stop attacking us or we will eradicate you. And just in case people forgot, they're Jewish. They don't do the New Testament.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit more Old Testament-y.
Exactly.
So, yeah, check out the Old Testament about how they dealt with stuff. I think they're being really nice.
Yep.
Chachi says, CNN folks can't afford trips overseas no more. You see that girl roll her eyes? Yeah, I know. It's real.
There's what Steph put from Trump.
Oh, thank you, Steph. We saw 5 wars, India and Pakistan, Azerbaijan and Armenia. 37 years they've been killing each other. Yes, they have. Rwanda and the Congo, a war that's been going on for 30 years, and we got it solved. Yeah, there you go. 100%. So,
thank you, Steph.
Yeah, thank you, Steph. I appreciate the little fact check there. Cheers to that, Steph. Yeah, that's the thing is it's war. And why do we have wars? Because politicians can't deal with foreign policy without trying to throw the military into it. And people are sick and tired of it. Yeah. It's always go to war. Because what does it do? It makes for great TV. Mm-hmm. Great TV. Oh my God. You get people just glued to the TV. Oh, look, there's new bombs. Oh, look at these bombs. Oh, it's new aircraft. Oh, it's new tanks. It's new this, that, the other thing. All this technology. Our fearless warriors are going to destroy the evil enemy that threatens us, blah, blah, blah. When in all actuality, it's a political failure. That's all a war is. And that's what the American people forgot. War is a failure of the politicians. Mm-hmm. The end. What's President Trump doing? Sounds like he's being a better politician than the politicians.
Yeah.
Sounds like a true statesman to me. Silver says, beautiful. World peace incoming. From your lips to God's ears. Let's see. Aaron says, Azerbaijan and Armenia and Rwanda and the Congo were the 2 I heard about. And apparently Trump said we got mineral rights in the Congo as part of the deal. Yeah.
And then Chachi.
Don't forget about Thailand and Cambodia also.
Yeah.
And then there was something about the Chinese trying to run over and destroy a Filipino boat. So China's going to be coming up here soon too.
Yep.
So many things going on.
Yep.
But I know that President Trump's going to keep us out of a hot war.
Exactly.
And that's what matters.
Thank you.
And I really haven't heard anything else about Iran.
I know.
So,
except for I read today they're out of water.
Yeah, I heard that they're running out of water, but I also know that they also said that they getting some of those nuclear sites back up, but that's not going to work out well for them.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's drive on.
Would you read that, please?
They're the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Benjamin Netanyahu claims social networks and bots are turning people against Israel.
Let's listen.
I mean, that's what,
that's what
Google and Silicon Valley.
Let's listen.
Guy must have got silicone brain implants.
I know.
The first part was about the propaganda.
The propaganda. Well, look, no, I think that we've not been winning it, to put it mildly. I think there are vast forces that are arrayed against us. Among other things, the algorithms of the social network that are driving a lot of everything else, you know, and people who really know, and they're the foremost people in this field in the world. They're telling me that about 60% of the responses on the social media are bots. They can categorically say they're bots.
Thoughts?
Welcome to the understanding that all of the bots on the internet don't want the truth to come out. Surprise! Who would have seen that one coming? But at the same time, you know what? Now we have a foreign national leader saying this, that there are bots and that they are pressing a narrative. Nobody should really be surprised by this, except for the people on the far left that only watch MSNBC, and then they're going to go ahead and disagree with anything that makes any kind of rational sense.
Well, that's what they like to do.
Well, it's because they're irrational.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyways, okay. So, yeah, the interwebs is filled with paid trolls and just trolls in general, because they got nothing else to do with their time. Probably because they're getting paid way too much on unemployment, and they're pissed off that they can't buy Reese's peanut butter cups with their
Food stamp
with their
card.
food stamp.
What do you mean I can't buy Reese's peanut butter?
That lady got really upset about the
She
Reese's.
was mad.
She must love her Reese's.
I know.
Put her on a Reese's commercial about how important they are.
Are you ready?
Actually, they probably don't want that one.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
How about some Justin?
Yeah, I could use some Justin after all this anger.
Let's listen.
All right.
If you're being attacked spiritually, this video is for you. And I want to show you something through the life of Jesus. I want to show you how the enemy attacked him. Since he is your king, he is your savior, he's Jesus, he's Yeshua, he's the Messiah, he is your leader. The enemy is going to attack you just as he did him. So let's look at it when Jesus goes out into the wilderness. He was isolated. First, he attacked his identity. And then he attacked his reliance on God. And then he attacked his purpose. Your purpose is what the enemy will always be looking at, targeting, and trying to derail and distract you from the potential in your purpose. John 15:21, but they will do all these things to you on account of my name. Who is they? It's the world. We are fallen people living in a fallen world. And once you understand that the enemy has control of this earth, yes, God is in control, but we have forfeited the enemy, the world. And he has set up his government, spiritual government, and we are operating in that government, for our weapons of warfare are not carnal. So let's continue to study out the life of Jesus. And let me show you how the enemy attacks you. Now let's look at the crucifixion. And I want to show you something relatable to that. Although Jesus was the extreme, he took the beating in the actual crucifixion, but there was an emotional impact that was meant to be delivered to him, an emotional impact that was meant to be delivered to the people watching. And it's still relevant today. We will still experience these type of emotional trauma or these type of emotional insecurities by being a follower of Jesus Christ. Let's look at the crown of thorns. This was designed to mock Jesus. How many of you have felt mocked? How many of you have been talked about behind your back? How many of you have been rejected for no reason? You just don't get invited anymore. How many of you have suffered that type of mockery and persecution? Secondly, it was the scorching, the beating that Jesus took. That was designed to weaken him. How many of you have felt weak? How many of you battle depression? How many of you have no reason to get out of bed? How many of you just feel like the world's against you and you are so weak and you don't know how you're going to move on? Well, this is spiritual warfare. This is spiritual attack. This is the design plan of the enemy, and very predictable, as we've seen in Scripture and how he attacked Jesus during the crucifixion. So now let's look at the crucifixion. This was a political statement. This was designed to be a deterrent. This was designed to be a public spectacle. This was designed to have impact with everybody watching. How many of you have been a spectacle? How many of you have been talked about? How many of you have been falsely accused for something? How many of you have felt embarrassed to leave your house because of a lie that's been told about you? Everything that Jesus went through in physical had a specific reason, an emotional attack on him during the process. And Jesus promised that if you're going to follow me, you're going to go through these type of attacks. The enemy has never changed. He still uses the same tactics. He's still attacking you for your purpose. It's not about your last name. It's not about your title. It's not about anything you've ever done in life. It's about your potential and your purpose. Never forget that. It's about your purpose.
It's about your purpose. Thoughts?
Yeah, very much it's about your purpose. By the way, nice microphone that he has there. Those shirts are nice. Anyway, so
Ours are nice.
I know ours are nice too, but I mean, it sure is a nice mic. Anyway, so let's see. Other people's opinion about you doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. People are going to talk. There's always gossip. It's the reason why it's on one of the 613 mitzvot. Don't gossip. You know why? Because it causes problems, but people get wrapped up in that. That's why there's like a whole soap opera industry, because people love their gossip. They love the drama. And so people will create drama, whether it's real or not, doesn't matter. They just want to be able to be the center of attention, as if they can feel holier than thou. And so they're going to say whatever it is they're going to say. And it is the devil. It's the devil working through people. Why? Because we get offended. We get shaken off of our game because of these kinds of things that happen. Everybody's experienced all of those things, to have somebody mock you, to have somebody talk about you behind your back, all of that crap. You know what? Let that be their problem. That's their problem. And we don't need to concern ourselves with it. Why even dignify it? That's kind of part of one of the reasons. And yes, this is the devil's world, right? I mean, it's pretty apparent. All you have to do is look around. You can see that the devil's very active in this planet. But how else are we supposed to grow? I think that's kind of one of the reasons why he allows Satan to go ahead and run things the way he does, so that way people can figure out that they need to either change or just accept the fact that they've got that darkness in them and they really like it. It is what it is. So what do? What's our response? Stay firm in your faith, and understand that these things, you know what? Why are they talking? If so-and-so really felt that, then they should say it to my face, but they didn't. That's why they're talking about me behind my back. And you know what? That really puts a lot of things into perspective for a lot of people. Tell them to come talk to me. We'll hash this one out. I got no problem with it. Let's talk. Let's talky talk. That's all right. I'm good with that. So don't let other people affect your joy, affect your happiness, and kick you off of your game in terms of your spiritual path. Remember, it's their problem, not yours. That's why they need to feel the need to bring you down a notch. In the end, you know, you're trying to do the best that you can. Do you make mistakes? Yeah, I know I do. So, but I also try not to, put myself in a position where I'm holier than thou, and maybe sometimes it's good for us. There's always something to learn in those kinds of trials, and it's up to us to figure that out. But sometimes it's something for them, especially when we've been doing everything right. And all you have to do is say is, if they didn't feel like gossiping, then they should have said it to me if they had a problem with me.
Yeah.
Aaron says, I love it when someone is talking about me behind my back. Then I know who to cut away quite blatantly. Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't need to talk to them anymore.
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please? Or would you read
Certainly.
that?
The Trump administration has teased eliminating the IRS and income tax. It's time.
Let's listen.
It is time.
Think about it. Donald Trump announces the External Revenue Service, and his goal is very simple. His goal is to abolish the Internal Revenue Service and let all the outsiders pay.
Do you believe at some point in time we could find a way, once the country's back on its feet and getting enough revenue and paid off our debt, do you think it's possible to find a way to eliminate federal taxes?
There is a way. There is a way. I mean, if what I'm planning comes out, it's a great question, by the way.
Everyone could attain their
pretty
American dream.
sophisticated.
And yeah, I have a real shot. We're taking in tremendous amounts of money. The answer is yeah. I think there's a real shot. I actually say there's a shot at. We have the Internal Revenue Service. We could use the External Revenue Service, and we wouldn't even need the Internal Revenue Service.
Can we reform taxes to eliminate the need to file?
Well, it's possible. If the tariffs work out really well, you wouldn't need income tax. You know that. If tariffs work out well, our country at its richest was during from 1870 to 1913. That was the richest, and we were an all-tariff nation.
And it's possible
No Fed.
we'll do a complete tax cut, because I think the tariffs will be enough to cut all of the income tax.
Thoughts?
All right. I'm all about
Chad says, I can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait either.
Says, love me some Trump. Me too.
I think we need to pay off our debt first, though.
Yeah.
I
love me some Trump too, Danielle.
It would be nice to not have the income tax. It'd be nice if the income tax made a lot more sense than it does. But I think that we do need to play our part. Everybody, whether you liked it or not, you got one of them Rona checks, didn't you? That there were a lot of checks that people got. And I think that we do need to pay it off. I think that I think that through the tariff regime that we will most certainly pay it down a lot quicker, but I'd rather not be into anybody else. How many times does the Bible talk about that? That we do need to pay our debts. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. It says that we should work until the debt is paid off, to do nothing else until the debt is paid off. And as a nation, I think that that's extremely important. But I also understand at the same time, not having to pay some taxes sure would be nice.
Yeah, it would. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Sure. Kathy Lee Gifford's stunning story of Donald Trump stepping up to protect her family from a stalker.
Let's listen.
All right.
The FBI called my husband and said, Mr. Gifford, please just keep your schedule, because we don't want this guy to know that we are after him. And Frank said, I'm going to make one call. I will not agree to that until I make one call. And he called Donald. And I always stayed at the Trump Tower there, with the one in Atlantic City. And Frank called Donald and said, of the situation. And Donald said, this is why I will love this man for my whole life. He said, Frank, don't you worry about it. I've got your girls. I've got your girls. And don't you worry. So Frank called back the FBI and said, I called Donald Trump. He says he's going to take care of my wife and my daughter. And next day, Donald, I didn't know anything. Donald calls me and he goes, Kathy, I'm sending my helicopter for you.
Oh my goodness.
I said, Donald, why? He said, because you had a baby. I said, Donald, women have babies every day.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Thank you. But it's no big deal. He goes, no, congratulations. So happy for you. Sending my baby, my helicopter for you and your baby and your nanny. And I said, Donald, you try to talk Donald out of something.
Yeah.
That day he sent his helicopter for me. And when I landed,
you're not driving to Atlantic City, so you're flying there.
And I'm flying on his helicopter. And when I arrive in Atlantic City, there are four of his
security.
Oh, major. I mean, these guys are major. And I said, thank you, guys. And I never thought about it. All week long, more and more people every day, more and more guys until the very end. And I went downstairs from my hotel room. I'd had a guy staying outside my hotel room all week long, outside my hotel room. And I said, why? I just never thought about it. You know, I just stupid, but I did.
But he did.
Thoughts?
Like Silver said, more and more there's so many stories like this about Donald Trump. So many stories about where he just drops everything to do the right thing.
Yes.
He's a strong businessman and he does things to upset people who are playing the game. But when there's somebody in need, he certainly seems to be Johnny on the spot, doesn't he? And that's one of the things that so many people love about Donald Trump is there is a history of President Trump going out of his way to do something nice for somebody, to
Like
do
the
something
lady,
nice.
like the homeless lady that ended up in one of his rooms
Mhm.
in Trump Tower
Yeah.
in New York City, and they were going to kick her out, and they called him, and he said, "No, leave her there," and she's lived there all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a good guy deep down inside. In his heart, I don't even say it's deep down inside. In his heart, President Trump is a good man. Plain and simple. I see that he's a strong businessman. Oh no, a businessman plays tough with other businessmen. How is business ever going to happen? Oh wait, no, he probably does it a million times better than so many of the other business people around there. He's fighting a war that most people don't even know is being fought, and he's doing it in a manner that's keeping his integrity and his soul intact. So I say, you know what? Kudos to President Trump, because these stories keep coming out, stories that we hadn't heard. And I know that the whole Kathy Lee Gifford thing happened a long time ago. I don't think she had a baby recently.
No,
I don't think so. Anyway, so it's like, where was this story before? But yet we're hearing it now. Again, the stories keep coming out, and these are not BS stories. There's too many of them, especially from somebody. What is she going to get out of it? What is she going to get out of saying this story? Nothing other than to relay the fact that she knows what the spirit of that man is. Aaron says she's lived there for years at Santino. Yeah, I know she's lived there for a while. How about Jennifer Hudson putting her in Trump Tower when her family was unalived? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done so much.
The stories you could go over, you
The
could fill
guy
a
who
book with the
stopped-
stories.
The guy who stopped and changed the tire on his limo, and he paid off his house.
Paid
I
off
mean,
his house
it
because he stopped to change a tire.
Yeah.
Come on.
There's just so many out there.
Yeah. There's no reason to pay off somebody's house because they change your tire.
Yeah.
What's the point of that other than he's just a good guy and he recognizes good people when he sees them.
Exactly.
Right on, man. Right on.
You ready?
Yeah,
Would you read that, please?
certainly. JD Vance responds to news that Biden DHS raised red flags over Tampon Tim's China ties.
I'll read what?
Problem is the media won't talk about Trump's good deeds. Yeah. Why won't they do that? Sea Strike? Yeah, we know why.
We know
because they can't afford to give him any good press.
Yeah.
But the good thing is people stop listening to the press. That's why what was that, an Instagram reel?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why it's on an Instagram reel. That's why everything's on TikTok. Oh, TikTok, the Chinese, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yet all the real news seem to be coming off of TikTok there for quite some time, huh?
Exactly. You ready?
Mhm.
Let's listen.
All right.
Also, your former competitor from the last election, Governor Walz, heard some news about him the last 24 hours where the FBI and DHS was covering for him and his ties to communist China.
Yeah. Well, this is
Do you think
why
they would have done this for you?
No, they certainly would not have. So this is why Gateway Pundit is so important, because you guys report on this stuff and uncover some of this stuff. And I read about it on your website. But as I understand it, the basic idea is that while the Biden DOJ was trying to throw Donald Trump in prison on fake charges, they were also aware that Tim Walz had all these connections to the Communist Chinese Party and did nothing about it. And I think all of us who followed that election closely, obviously I followed it very closely, recognize, okay, so you have a guy who's governor of Minnesota, is a high school teacher, has no reason to go to China. Like, okay, maybe once you go on vacation, but you go over 20 times over a period of years, like there's something weird going on there. And it seems like the Biden Department of Homeland Security actually flagged this guy as a potential security threat for his connections to the PRC. And he's not just some random guy living in Minnesota. He's the governor, and he was the potential vice president of the United States. I think in so many ways, literally and figuratively, we dodged a bullet in that election. Just amazing. The president dodged a literal bullet, but I think the whole country dodged the bullet of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And to all those who are watching in Vegas, aren't you glad you have me as vice president and not a communist agent, Tim Walz?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that guy was nuts. Bouncing around the stage and jumping around. It was too much.
Jazz hands, Tim Walz.
Oh my gosh.
Thoughts?
Jazz hands, amongst so many other names for Tim Walz. All right, so Manchurian candidate through and through. We've heard on more than one occasion that he's real buddy with the CCP, and that's been coming out more and more. It's not a secret anymore, along with so many others of our politicians and those who were in the Federal Reserve, people at various government agencies, the unelected officials, et cetera, et cetera. And this is one of those things that's going to have to come out. So are we hearing anything specific that's going to be damning evidence at this point in time? No, not yet. But that doesn't mean that this isn't that predictive programming to give people that idea, so that way when the information does come out in full force, that people aren't going to be surprised. And that's going to be one of the things that's really important. And these are the things that we need to talk to people about, is the fact that these people are tied to, you know, so many of these foreign countries. And Tim Walz was dirty in so many ways.
So many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, Minnesota needs so much help because of him.
Yeah, him too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
The spirit of condemnation has you thinking that God is a punisher. I know you was raised where it was hell, brimstone, fire, going to hell, going to hell, skirts, hell, lipstick, hell, watches, hell. But what happens is we don't realize that God is not a punisher. He doesn't punish. He disciplines. There is a difference. Punishment has negative emotion involved. That's why when you see the person at the line in the store and their kids are curious and they put 1,000,000 candies in front of them at the checkout line at eye level, you don't think that's on purpose? But I told that little, before we came in the store, don't touch nothing. You took them into a store with 10,000 items at age 7, and you really expecting them not to touch nothing? What happens if they touch you? You punish them because emotionally it was charged by your fear of being embarrassed. An emotionally mature adult can be able to tell them, sweetheart, we're not getting that. Mommy already asked you one time, please put that down. But if you do your chores, maybe next time you can, you're teaching them something. But when you pop them and now they're crying in the store and then you say, shut up before I give you something to, oh, what do you think it taught them? Yeah. It taught them to do what Adam and Eve did, hide. And so now we have a culture that's hiding from authority because we think that all authority is going to lay punishment on us instead of give us discipline.
Thoughts?
I mean, we're kind of taught that as little kids. He pointed it out perfectly. You know, stop crying or I'm going to give you something to cry about. I think that's something that every adult on this planet has heard in all of the various languages around the planet. And so, yeah, it creates that sense of fear of getting punishment. But the thing is we should be more concerned about discipline. Discipline is designed to make us better, to make us not do the things that we made the mistakes for. And you know, we as human beings sometimes forget about the difference between the two. But we do need to recognize that you can't tell people that they're going to hell for every little infraction. And I find that so obnoxious. You know, it's like
you're a girl wearing pants, you're going to hell. What? Get out of my face.
And that's just because people take the 613 mitzvot to the extreme. And even then, that's not considering what Jesus was talking about. And it has absolutely nothing to do with jeans, because there's women's jeans and men's jeans. And Lord knows, I don't know what the hell those things are that they call pockets in women's jeans, but it's certainly not anything that's on men's jeans. So clearly there's a difference between the two, and women aren't wearing men's clothes. If that's the case, also the shapes are a little bit different for some reason.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's people trying to be holier than thou. And honestly, if somebody says that somebody else is going to hell, oh, you're the judge now. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to know that the Lord has sent us some more judges. Let's see what the rest of the judges have to say. But I don't think that anybody's going to hell for wearing clothes or whatever it is that somebody else, had told them that they were going to hell for. Right. I mean, should we do things better? Yes. But at the same time, it's like, let's not take it to the extreme. It's like Jesus said, when John the Baptist was sent, he lived an absolute austere life. Didn't do, he did everything the right way. He ate bugs and honey.
Never had any wine.
Never had any wine. And then Jesus comes and he makes wine out of water. He dances and he does the living. And yet that's not right either. That's the problem is that human beings, if they're looking for something to be wrong, they're going to find something wrong. And so we need to not worry about that. What we need to understand is what Jesus was talking about, and that's what's in their heart. What's in your heart? Was your heart pure when you made this mistake? Yes. Okay. Look, there's a better way to do it. Or if your heart wasn't pure, all right, look, we got some work to do. But it doesn't mean that you need to throw away somebody to the pits of Sheol because they did something wrong. Because as far as I understand the preachings of Jesus is that he loves everybody and he wants redemption.
Yes.
So let's figure out ways to help redeem people as opposed to condemning them as if we were given any authority whatsoever to judge.
Exactly. There's one judge.
There is one judge. Left Lane says, I got told that I had to go back to my first wife and remarry her. Otherwise, I would go to hell. No, because even the Old Testament doesn't say that. You can give her a written certificate of divorce. It says don't go back to her if she's been remarried.
Yeah.
So if she's remarried, they told you to send.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Carol says, I know my mama made it to heaven, so I know I'm good. Only kidding, Mom. What, you're kidding that she made it to heaven?
She's being a goober.
She's being a Weisenheimer. Yeah, I know.
Is.
So am I.
Are you ready?
Back. Yes.
Let's listen. Miss Bethany sent me this one.
Oh, nice.
I am not usually a conspiracy theorist, but I have one cooking and I genuinely believe it. I wholeheartedly believe that the reason the government does not take care of our veterans better is because keeping our veterans in a place where they're constantly having to survive instead of thrive means that they are far less likely to be able to participate in a form of resistance against the government. And I think that their input in a resistance would be our best shot at actually overthrowing an authoritarian government. Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
That is an excellent point, but that's not going to stop veterans from saving this republic. Really, I would say that the biggest problem that veterans have, from my perspective, is that you go into what is practically a socialist society. You do everything for the betterment of everybody else as best as you can because you are one cohesive team and unit. And so when you get back into the civilian world and you find out that everybody's out for themselves and it's as cutthroat as it can possibly be, so that way people can climb their way to the top, it is a confusing scenario for a lot of kids who that's the only thing they knew from the age of 18 until whenever they get out. And it can be a real problem. That's only part of the issue. I mean, you get the institutionalization and there's a lot. I would say that the biggest problem is we spend at least 60, if not 90 or more days trying to get somebody to be a part of the military, and they spend almost a week trying to get people ready to go back into the civilian world. And so there is a stark difference. Also, I will say that some of the things in the military, they're done the way they are for a specific reason, and I don't think that they can be done any other way from my perspective. But what do I know? Anyways, it's something that needs to be worked on, but it's also something that the American people understood a lot better a long time ago. And all of this stems back to, and this actually touches on what she says, and it's called the bonus army. And just a quick refresher for the people that don't know what the bonus army is. Good old illustrious Woodrow Wilson sent out the U.S. military because people they had the Hooverville in Washington, D.C., and they needed to clear it out because all of those veterans were promised that, I think it was Woodrow Wilson. Anyways, I digress. I just don't like the guy. They were promised that they were going to be given an X amount of $1 bonus, and it was not given to them. Surprise, a lie for a campaign promise. So they sent the military in. By the way, the captain and major, I think, that were in charge of that were MacArthur and Patton. Let that one sink in for a little bit. After that point, the VA went to absolute dog shit. Steph says, same thing. It's like somebody's getting out of prison that's been in prison for a long time, trying to adjust to the real world. And you know what? There are, this is my understanding, is that the military people do kind of stick together, but they also understand the lifestyle because it's a lifestyle that was taught in the military. Very regimented, very no personal space kind of style of living. And so military people do okay inside the can. Sadly, it is about programming, and it's something that needs to be fixed, not only for the military, but for the people who have served time. My heart does go out to them because they get put into a terrible situation. They may have done something not very big of a deal. They go into crime in the penitentiary system, and then they don't even know how to function out here in what we call the real world.
Exactly.
But in so many ways, the real world is absolute BS.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, we got a lot of fixing to do.
Yeah, we do. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. RFK Jr. reveals his diet.
Let's listen.
McDonald's, I knew it.
A lot of people want to know, what's the Bobby Kennedy diet?
Basically, it's a carnivore diet, so it's mainly meat and then fermented vegetable, anything fermented. So a lot of yogurt, a good yogurt without sugar in it.
Kefir.
And then coleslaw and kimchi and all kinds of fermented vegetables. And it's really, I would say it's dramatically changed my, everything.
Right.
So I've had very good luck with it.
Do got a lot of fixing to do, Chad.
Thoughts?
The carnivore diet, I mean, that sounds good, I guess. I know that there's
Aaron talks about it all the time.
Aaron and F-Clan. Where's F-Clan?
And Mike, too, I think.
I think Mike does it as well. Yeah, there's a lot of people who do that carnivore diet. I think it works. The fermented stuff. I know that there's a lot of people that have fermented grape juice and fermented hops.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those fermented drinks as well. I don't think he's talking about those. I bet his farts stink. Only when he has eggs. Oh, geez. Anyways. So, yeah, I mean, not a surprise. What about fruit? I mean,
I don't know how that works.
yeah, I don't know. No, because I think the carnivore diet, is that playing with the keto? I know keto is its own diet. Carnivore diet could be different, but I think you do get your body into a state of ketosis.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Let's see. Aaron says coleslaw, Korean coleslaw, kimchi, fermented veggies, and carnivore. I'm telling you, Santino, I love it since last November. 85 to 95% carnivore and no processed shit. Maybe 2% processed. Yeah. Let's see. Kimchi is very good for you in a lot of ways. I love kimchi. I think that stuff's amazing. Yeah, well, Kay likes those too.
I make them.
She makes them. Those things are awesome. Love my fruit and veggies.
Yeah.
I eat it. I eat it snack amounts and small amounts rarely.
Fruit.
Fruit. Okay. Kombucha. I've heard about that. I don't know. It just sounds weird to me. I'm gonna have to try it though.
Yeah.
I haven't committed to buying any to try it though.
Yeah.
Carnivore diet is meat and eggs. That sounds good too.
Yeah, but it's also the fermented stuff. So
Yeah, I know.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. Debunking the myth that white people created slavery.
Let's listen.
All right.
White people didn't invent slavery. In fact, they were the first to end it. Yet somehow saying this is controversial. Watch what happens when someone says it out loud.
The reason there is no slavery in the world today, I mean, there's a lot of slavery in the world today, but in the parts of the world where there's no slavery, is because the British Empire ended it. That's why there is no slavery. That is, well, look, the fact that you are uneducated about history doesn't mean it's funny. So let me educate you now. Let me educate you now. Let me educate you now. I know that the woke narrative and the anti-Western narrative on slavery. Oh, you're not practicing free speech very well, are you? You're not practicing free speech very well, are you? The moment I say something you don't like, you're not practicing free speech very well, are you, sir?
Let's be clear. Slavery is evil, but it's an ancient human evil practiced by everyone to everyone. 4 years ago, I went to Ghana. I stood in a slave dungeon where people who looked like me sold people who looked like me to white people. But long before Europeans began the transatlantic slave trade, there was a trans-Saharan slave trade. For over 1,000 years, brown Arab slavers sold millions of black Africans across the Sahara. Then came the Barbary slave trade. In North Africa, Arab and African raiders captured and sold over 1 million white Christian Europeans. China, Korea, Japan, India, every one of them practiced slavery. Europeans did take slavery to another scale when they came to Africa, but it's not because they were more evil. It's because they had the technology to commit evil on an industrial scale. So, which major power stopped slavery first? The British, in large part because of pro-human Christian values. The same values America was founded on, the same values that drove white Americans to fight other white Americans to free black Americans in the Civil War. Values missing in places like Libya, where today you can buy a human being for $400. White people aren't better than anyone else, but they're also not worse. Yet, some black people are taught to hate white people, and many white people are taught to hate themselves. We keep pretending evil has a color, as if less melanin means less morality. That lie makes us ignore history and fuels racial hatred. Right now, much of that hatred is aimed at white people. But why should black or brown people care? Because hatred is a hot coal that we hold in our hand, waiting to throw at another. It burns them, but it burns us too. It turns every problem into white supremacy while defending black degeneracy. And when the pendulum swings back, white people react with hostility, and then they defend white degeneracy. The only way out of this is to stop making morality about the color of people. Because in our capacity for good and evil, we are all equals. If you're tired of lies about history, subscribe to my Substack. I cover the stories the mainstream media won't touch. I cut through media bias and teach you how to do it too. The link is in my bio, so drop your email and get exclusive videos I can't post anywhere else.
Thoughts?
All right. Can we hold on? Type his name in there. KAIZENAIZIEDU, I think is what it was. I think is his name. So those of you who are looking, look, he brings up some of the best points. Is that it's hate getting thrown around. It's like a hot coal. Everybody's getting burnt by this hot coal. And what's really happening in the end? It's preventing us from having the conversation about slavery that's going on right now to this very day. And the only way that we can get to address that is if we stop fighting with each other over this race war that keeps on going on. It is absolutely ridiculous. I don't hate anybody because of the color of their skin. I know that people don't hate me because of the color of my skin. I know that there are people who hate and they will do hateful things, and they may do it because of skin color. But that doesn't mean that everybody is that way. It's such a small minority of people in this nation today who actually think like that. And more than likely, it's because of something that happened in their childhood, some kind of childhood trauma, and they're going to give it right back to somebody else. And that shows their own ignorance and their own inability to deal with the problems and recognize that it's just a few individuals who are causing a lot of the problems. But that's because the justice system has been a little perverted for quite some amount of time, and that's what needs to get fixed. Again, the reason for the race baiters. We heard all of this stuff about everything that's going on in DC. Oh, it's because of race. No, it's because it's a crime-ridden town. That's why the National Guard needed to be brought into DC. It has nothing to do with anybody's skin. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say most of the criminals are wearing a collar and have a lower amount of melanin in their skin. And they're probably given all sorts of honorifics and have their ass kissed everywhere they go as people are vying to give them money so that way they can buy some kind of a vote. Those are the people that are the real problem in this country. It's not because somebody has more or less melanin in their skin. Mike says, we almost had the racism whooped, then came Obama. And that's an excellent point, Mike, because racism got really out of control during the Obama years. And yeah, we had our race baiters like the two people who used to follow Martin Luther King around, Martin Luther King Jr., Al Sharpton, and the other clown. What was his name?
Reggie Jackson.
No, he was a baseball player.
Or whatever his name
Yeah,
was.
Reggie somebody. Anyways, I know y'all tell us who it is. Anyways, let's see. Hope says that Jean Girl played in a movie about human trafficking.
The one that they're so mad about.
Oh, are they still mad about a movie?
No, they're so mad about that Jean commercial.
Oh, the Jean commercial.
She said, I have great genes.
Gotcha. Okay. And see, you know what? These are the kinds of things that people need to be able to not get upset about, and people have turned it into a sport being offended. And that was done by Sharpton and Jackson.
Who? I can't remember.
I can't remember. It's not Reggie. It was, I forgot. Yeah, race bait and poverty pimps. It's exactly what they were. No, not Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was the president. He was actually a slaver.
Yeah.
But he also got rid of the Fed. I guess we take what we can get.
Supposedly a preacher.
Yeah. Anyway, so the thing is people made money off of it, and they got to have their petty little kingdom. But Jesse, that's it. Thank you very much.
I knew they'd find.
Yeah, I knew somebody. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are smart. Thank God y'all are here. Otherwise, this would be a dumb show. Anyway, so it's the things that we can't overcome them until we have these problems getting brought up. And now that these problems are being brought up, we're getting the opportunity to get past these things that these race baiters like Obama and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, have made a living off of. And they're going away. And I think that things are going to start to get a lot better. And we're going to go back, to the pre-Obama era when people were actually starting to get along.
Exactly. Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes.
Bethany sent me this one too. It's really great. Let's listen.
All right.
Why you think the devil don't need a gun? Because your tongue is a trigger. And some of y'all keep shooting your own future with reckless words. You keep saying I'm broke. You keep saying I can't. You keep saying this is just my life. And now your life looks like what you keep speaking. You praying for a breakthrough, but you speaking breakdown. You fasting for favor, but prophesying for failure. The devil ain't silencing you. You doing it to yourself. Woo. Life and death don't sit in your hustle. It sits in your mouth. And your mouth is either planting fruit or feeding flames. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21 says it clear. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. So speak like a weapon of heaven, not a puppet of hell. Woo. Reload your mouth with scripture and fire on the enemy. And remember, keep it G, keep God first. Let's get it. Yeah, in the name of Jesus. Woo!
Hey, Randoon.
Hey, Randoon.
Be careful.
Yeah, drive safe. All right. So, you know what? The power of life and death is in the tongue. We've heard that a lot of times, and you know what? It's the truth. We need to recognize that we have a lot more power than we believe we do, and we have to be careful about the words that come out of our mouth. And we need to make sure that we are speaking life over people as opposed to the death. And the death that we speak on people is that negativity. We must stay positive and we must be filled with love. And the more love we speak to the world around us, the better things get. And so we need to make sure that we're speaking life over every possible situation and in every time we open up our mouth. Is that the easiest thing to do? No. Because, well, it's really difficult to monitor every single thought that we have. And some things are very important that we need to say. But we should always take that step back. And I really need to listen to this. And take that step back, wait a moment, and consider what we're saying to make sure that we are speaking life into the world around us. Because each one of those rocks that we throw into the pond do send those ripples back in our direction.
They do. You ready?
Yes.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Recovering leftist who worked with PBS and NPR is glad they're being defunded.
And can you read that from Mike real quick?
Let's see. Mike says, if you thought your words would come true, you would change the way you speak. Then change the way you speak. If you thought, okay, let me try that again because that was a question. If you thought your words would come true, would you change the way you speak? There we go. Then change the way you speak. Amen, brother. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, 100%.
I know he's CIA. You ready?
I don't
Let's
think so.
listen.
We need to cut that out.
Although PBS and NPR literally started my career, I approve of them getting defunded. Let me explain why before you freak out. And as Daniel Tiger would say,
Feel so mad that you want to roar. Take a deep breath and count to 4.
welcome back to Confessions of a Liberal. I'm Erin Durham, historian, filmmaker, recovering idealist. I owe my entire career to public broadcast. In grad school, I had no confidence, no connections, just a lot of movie making dreams. Then I landed an internship at PBS. I was supposed to be a historical researcher, but the producers, bless them, saw a hard worker. On day one, they threw me behind a live camera, and all they said to me was, "You're fine," and walked away. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm fine. I remember the first day I got to direct. I was 9 months pregnant, and the producer begged me to come in and run teleprompter for this live show. I come in, and the producer looks at me and says, "You're directing today." And I was like, it was amazing. Without a doubt, one of the best professional moments of my life. NPR came through for me too. 2 years later, my first no-budget film called Buskin' Blues landed me on the State of Things.
The origins of busking go way, way, way back.
That plug started my journey of going to festivals all around the world. Public broadcasting was like my fairy godmother, waving opportunities for me. So you think I'd be the first in line to defend PBS and NPR when the Trump administration yanked their funding. You'd expect me to call it an attack on free speech, a fascist power grab.
President Trump has defunded NPR and PBS. This is, of course, ending government-funded propaganda media. I thought we should all be against that, right? Oh, but it's okay when we do it. It's okay when we do it.
I didn't march, I didn't tweet storm, I didn't call my senator. Instead, I opened my wallet and I donated.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
Oh,
not out of protest, but because I see what they can be. Public broadcast was supposed to be for the people. Independent, bold, accountable to us. Yet its dependency on tax dollars has made it complacent. Also, the government is terrible at managing money. We know this. And their accountability rate is a joke.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
You just say bingo.
Bingo.
PBS and NPR have been caught in scandals, from bloated executive salaries to partisan reporting. As a liberal, I used to brush this off as right-wing noise, but numbers don't lie. When you burn through millions in public funding, at the same time, trust from the community is tanking, there's something wrong. But the truth is, in any other scenario, this would not be acceptable. If public broadcasting has to ask for every dollar from people like you and me, they'll have to listen. They'll have to create content that speaks to everyone. Democracy does not need a babysitter handing out checks.
Phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit.
It needs institutions that fight for their existence, that prove their worth every single day.
If you let me look at his files.
We lost funding in my station so many times. We just figured it out. Like, that's what you do in this industry.
Stay open. Who knows? Lightning could strike.
So my confession, I'm a liberal who's cheering on the defunding of PBS and NPR because it just makes sense and I want to fix it. And if PBS and NPR are watching, I pledge to help you any way that I can, whether that's a fundraiser or content, whatever you need. I am on your team. I just think you need to do things a different way. And that's my confession, folks. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. Until next time, stay curious and ask a few questions instead of just immediately getting mad.
Thoughts?
That has a really high production value. It seems to have been put together very well. That's pretty amazing. But then again, she's like a director and stuff like that. So I think she has a pretty good idea as to what that's going to look like. You know, I appreciate the fact that she says that she's still a liberal. And you know what? I have no problem with that. I think that that's absolutely necessary in this nation because otherwise we'll be homogenous. And that would make for a very boring and really crazy country because people being people will just find reasons to be different because people and you know I'm a special little snowflake and all that other stuff. But the thing is that she sees the truth, and that's what we need. Is we need people on the left to see the truth and to be able to speak to their fellow liberals and say, yeah, well, we were just kind of telling one side of the story. That's the most important part. We need people to say that only one side of the story has been getting out. And it needs to not be conservatives. It needs to not be Republicans. It needs to not be anybody that's even a libertarian. It can only be the Democrats that can tell other Democrats that the Democrats are being, well, not very democratic.
There you have it.
She's too cute to be a liberal. Well, you know.
She is very cute, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust any of that, but yeah, sure. She looks more conservative. Apparently she looks like a conservative. I don't know. Send her an email. Tell her she looks like a conservative. Maybe she just hasn't figured it out yet.
I think she's getting there, though.
No, I think that there's a liberal mindset. I don't think that I think that there's a difference between a liberal and a left-wing nut job.
Well, there is that.
And that's all we've really been seeing are the hostile people.
Right.
Which are the nut jobs.
Yeah.
Because they can't contain their anger. Right. Because the president is dealing with the high crime in Washington, D.C.
Right.
And that's a nut job.
Yeah.
Not even giving it a chance and hoping that the president fails. I didn't like your Biden little puppet that was out there. Still prayed for the dude. Still prayed that our nation succeeded because otherwise I recognized I was praying for the failure of our nation.
Yeah.
Which is kind of clowny kind of thing.
Right.
So, yeah. No, they just have a mental disorder. Until they get their mental disorder fixed, then, things can't change. But the good thing is that the people on the left aren't in fear enough that they feel that they can't speak up, because I have a feeling she probably felt this way for quite some time, but she probably had to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. In 2016, Obama accidentally told NPR the conclusion of the CIA intelligence report.
Let's listen.
Yeah.
Obama may have given us a smoking gun, sir.
He did, yeah. He's either the first clairvoyant president in American history, because he seemed to know on December 19th, before the CIA had redone the intelligence committee assessment, what its outcome was, or more likely, he knew the fix was in. This is an interview he gives NPR, and I guess he forgot that they hadn't done the work yet. So he tells NPR expects the CIA to reverse itself and conclude that Vladimir Putin tried to help Donald Trump. The problem is the CIA hasn't really even started the work. It just got going. And he's so embarrassed, he comes back later and tries to walk it back a little bit. Oh, things are still going on. We'll have to see where it goes. It is the sort of proof that John Durham should have found in his investigation, but didn't. But for this point going forward, when you try to prove, let's just say, long 10-year conspiracy, this is a really, really significant piece of evidence. And I'll walk people back to Watergate, because you mentioned it for a second. The moment Republicans bolted on Richard Nixon, the epic event that caused them to do it, is when they got the tapes and they realized that Nixon had asked the CIA to try to stop the FBI from investigating the burglary. By the way, the CIA didn't do it, but the mere fact that a president would consider asking the CIA to do something political, it was enough for an entire party to bolt on their president. Here, Obama asked the CIA to come up with a concocted thing, and he seems to know the outcome before the work's even done. You've got the FBI pressuring the CIA to put a bogus Christopher Steele document in the intelligence assessment. And of course, you got the FBI helping Hillary Clinton carry out the whole dirty trick. It is epically, just on the standards of Watergate, it is epically worse than anything we saw in Watergate. And the Democratic Party just yawns at it in our face every day. That's why consequences matter. If we don't punish this behavior, we're going to go from the greatest constitutional republic the world has known to a perennial banana republic.
Thoughts?
All right. So I know that these things are coming out because people are speaking plainly about it. And I'm glad to hear that Durham supposedly missed all of this stuff. Starting to seem like so many other things that Trump did was to highlight the corrupt people and put them in the try this again. Words are hard. To put the corrupt people in the spotlight. If that's the case with Durham, then so be it. But the fact that that Obama let it slip that this was the direction that they were going before the intelligence community assessment was even done kind of tells me that he was kind of leading the direction that the ICA, the assessment, was going to be. It's interesting, but certainly something that would speak to something that sounds an awful lot like treason.
Mm-hmm.
Mike says the proof about Obama is not Trump's paperwork. It's Obama's. There you go. Yep. It's a banana republic here in California. Sadly.
We know.
I know. And y'all can't even grow bananas over there.
I know.
It's bananas.
It's bananas.
B-A-N. Didn't
Ready?
catch that. Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. George Will makes moronic argument for Zohran Mamdani.
You ready?
Yeah.
This must be horrible for a guy like you, who you spent your whole life talking about how government tries to do too much, which it does, and spends too much. And here you have Trump, who is the Republican, who is aggrandizing more power than anybody, as we just talked about. And on the other side, you have the guy running in New York, Mamdani, right? Okay, who's like a straight up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
I want him to win.
You want him to win?
Yeah. I think every 20 years or so.
Wait.
Every 20 years or so, we need a conspicuous, confined experiment with socialism so we can crack it up again. Socialist slogan used to be, workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains. The new socialist slogan is, Trust us, this time it won't be a mess. So, when the post-war Labour government in Britain was about to get started, one of their leading lights was a socialist named Nurian Bevan. He said, what could go wrong? He said, we have a nation bedded on coal, surrounded by fish. It would take an organizational genius to have a shortage of either. In 3 years, they had a shortage of both. That's socialism.
Thoughts?
They're always trying to repackage socialism as if it's ever going to work. The funny thing about socialists is they actually don't know anything about humanity whatsoever because, well, they're generally the people that do all the things that make socialism not work. If there were no Democrats, then socialism would probably work, would be my guess.
Well, there's that.
Because it's people who understand that if we work hard together, that and nobody is better than anybody else. It's really kind of, like a servant, humble servant kind of government. But we're just not there. And so it's not going to work, especially because the people who always push it recognize that they're the ones that want to be at the top. Right. And it's always the people at the top that want to push the socialism. So, I guess we still have parts of this country where they still need to feel that. And good luck, but this ain't the place. Go somewhere where they want to do that, but stop trying to make other people live in your Marxist nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, boom.
Thank you, Fire. Chad, he agrees with you.
Thank you. Fire, much. I bet he's amazing. See, I know that people, Masons are people from all walks of life. Aaron says he's from Arizona, been to San Diego in the 90s, was awesome, even marched in marching band and a Disney parade. That explains a lot, Aaron. Like 93 or 92, but their government got to be replaced. It's not the government, though. The government should be fine. It's the corrupt people that have managed to steal the government from the people. I look forward to the Republic of California being a public kind of government again.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I'd love to go back to San Diego. I miss San Diego. Something fierce.
We do.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Except it was difficult to go buy a Christmas tree and board shorts, flip flops, my Jesus sandals, and a T-shirt.
Yeah,
it's hard to get in the Christmas spirit that way. Yeah. Well, thank you, Silver. We'll find one way.
Coyote Cafe. I think about it all the time.
Oh yeah. Mike was a Mason for 20 years. He's not now. All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah. You had nothing else to say. All right.
You wake up, and the first thing you do is you didn't honor the fact that he kept you while you were sleeping. That's why I can't come to church and be cute. God's been too good to me. God had an angel at your bed watching you sleep. The devil was trying his best to not let you wake up. But God was like, I just need angels in camp. All about them.
He's got a point. Thoughts?
I want to hear yours now. You've been muffling yourself over there. I don't appreciate it.
Well,
stop it.
It's so true because
Speak, woman.
Think about it. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is grab your cell phone.
Well, what's this you stuff?
No, I'm talking about people in general. Say a prayer. Talk about the blessings you have in your life. We're so blessed. We're so blessed. And I have started sitting up and saying, thank you for the air in my lungs. Thank you for another day. Thank you for my husband. Thank you for my home. Just thank you. That's so much better than grabbing your phone and seeing what someone posted on Facebook. It's not like they're going to go, oh, look, the dog shit again. It's always their perfect little life. Anyway, thoughts?
So my thoughts on this is we should always be giving thanks. So, pray continuously is what we should be doing. And what is the first thing you do when you get out of bed? And that's a really good indicator as to where your heart is. I know that I don't get up every morning and the first thing on my mind is God, but I've been getting a lot better about that, and I try to make it that. I know that I try to do the Shema, which is the prayer, which is just a couple of the verses from the Bible, and it talks about following God. Kay and I, as soon as we're both up together, first thing we do, other than the "Hi, baby, I love you, good morning, blah 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 blah," is we get down on our knees and we say an "Our Father," the Lord's Prayer, and so it's about keeping your focus, because he is the one that gives us breath, and it's that very breath that we should be grateful for, and that's just the beginning. There's so many more gifts that we have other than just being able to wake up, but being able to wake up every day is a gift in and of itself, and we should be grateful for that. And it's if you're not there yet, then try to build that practice, because again, it's gratitude, and we should praise the Lord because he created us. I mean, unless you think you created yourself, then I'm all ears. Let me know all about it. But in the end, it's like we should give gratitude for the one who created us.
Seems like everybody here, well, Liberty goes to pee first.
Well, I mean, there's that.
But I mean, you got to do that.
Be grateful for being a guy. The alternative would suck.
You're so funny. You know what? Just be thankful in the morning. That's the best thing.
Yes.
Even if you're peeing, you can say thanks.
It's not in a colostomy bag.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
See?
Mike says, I died twice when I had my heart attack. I thank God every morning for letting me live. Amen.
We're so glad you're here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Make my day better. I can see a lot better because of you as well.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Because you're about to have to use that.
I'm about to have to use this again. All right.
Would you read that, please?
All righty. Sanctuary cities continue to try to protect child sexual predators to spite ICE.
Let's listen.
How's that going to work out for you?
It's not going to work out
They're not
good.
fighting ICE. They're spiting God.
They are.
In the end, that's why they do the things that they're doing. Those kinds of things.
Yep. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
Federal immigration officials and a local police department in Rhode Island are at odds over details of an arrest and release of an illegal immigrant charged in a sex sting operation involving a minor. Local police in Rhode Island are now responding to DHS, who claimed an ICE detainer was not honored for the suspect after his release. The Portsmouth Police Department releasing this surveillance video after the suspect posted bond. It shows ICE agents waiting outside, and they say officers did coordinate with ICE to take the suspect into custody. But ICE's acting director doubling down, saying the department did in fact ignore the retainer.
You saw in that video that they released, well, it took almost 5 agents to make that arrest, when we could have just went inside the facility and took that, child sex offender into custody. These aren't the individuals you want in your neighborhood or at the playground. They were going to let him out the door if the ICE agents weren't there.
ICE says deportation proceedings have begun.
Odds.
All right. So sanctuary cities, we kind of touched on this earlier about the shenanigans that are going on in Washington, D.C. right now. These sanctuary cities, they are breaking federal law by trying to harbor foreign invaders. Is this the Maryland man all over again? Are you going to tell us how wonderful this guy is and that he's just, he's what, misguided, whatever? Why is it that these things keep popping up over and over and over again, that there seems to be a lot of other illegal activity other than just merely illegally coming across the border? It's almost like they knew they were going to do illegal activities. That's why they did not want to go through the front door. And so I see them as invaders. So many other Americans do. They are destroying the livelihood, I would say, of a majority of the people who have been homeless in the past 4 years. Why is that? Because the jobs aren't there. Because there's probably about 50 million people who are here illegally doing the jobs that Americans would otherwise be doing. You cannot convince me otherwise unless it's for an employer that doesn't want to do things on the up and up, in which case that employer should have the full weight of the government, state, federal, local, county, whatever, should be making sure that those kinds of businesses that are treating their employees like slaves, that they shouldn't be open. So, as long as the government has to continue to play games that the sanctuary cities want them to play, it's only a matter of time before so many more National Guard units get federalized against the governor's will to retake and maintain good order and discipline and governance of the government that is in place. Because after all, a government's job is to remain governing.
Mm-hmm.
And when they stop supporting one group that is a citizenry of one country, and they start supporting invaders from outside of this country, then those governments are hostile to the very people that supposedly elected these people in office. I don't see any other way to see this.
Yeah, me either.
I voted to send all 50 million back. Yeah, and the rest of them too, Mike.
Yeah. Because I think it's way more.
Yeah, I know.
Aaron wants to bet him $1 that 99% of us in the chat voted pretty damn close the same way.
Yeah, right. I think everybody that's chatting right now, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And if you disagree, feel free to speak up. If they start attacking you, we will reprimand. We want all different opinions. This is a freedom of speech kind of show, so feel free to speak up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Yeah, we'll boot the regulars. I don't care. They know that. Let's see. California keeps screwing over farmers because Democrats hate America.
Let's listen.
I wish it didn't look that way, Democrats.
I know.
Turn off my water today. Can't pay any of my bills because can't grow any crops. Leave my water on, defy the water board. They sue me, take my farm. So either way it goes, I'm going to lose my farm. For what? What gain does the state get for stealing my water? What gain do I get? Nothing. I lose my farm. Can't pay my bills. They're not getting no fish back. So, when are you going to wake up, California?
That breaks my heart.
It breaks my heart too. It's the thing is I don't know how many Californians are just like him and Silver and Calbear and et cetera, et cetera. I think it's a much larger percentage than what the polling and what the alleged elections have been saying. But we also know that those numbers were fudged because of improper census counting illegal aliens. And we know that there was a lot of shenanigans in terms of the people who were voting that didn't necessarily have a right to vote in the elections, but were doing so anyway. We've seen so many of these things. I think that the Californians are really are tired of this. And this is another thing that I kind of have an issue with. I know that somehow mineral and water rights were removed from pretty much all of the properties. I think that's wrong. I think that if you own a piece of land, and this is traditional law back to ancient Greece, before even Rome, and that is that you own everything from the center of the earth to the sky. That is your land. When you buy that land, you own everything from the bottom of the earth up to the sky. And so therefore, it shouldn't be like this. If this man has a farm, there has to be some water. There's got to be some kind of an aquifer that he has the ability to draw water from. And it sounds like he had to turn it off. So what's the deal?
They turned it off.
Yeah, they turned it
Because
off.
he couldn't pay his bill because they won't let him water.
Yeah,
So
well,
he can't have crops.
yeah, it's absolute. Well, like Silver says, it's communism, and they're picking and choosing winners and losers. And I have a strong feeling that if you're a Democrat, you're a winner, and if you're a conservative or think for yourself, you're considered a loser, and you're made to be so. And this kind of touches on what that other gal says, and that is just like the veterans are kind of brushed off to the side and denied so many things. I think it's the same thing with people in various states, especially the blue ones. The more blue states always seem to make sure that the conservatives never have the ability to survive, let alone thrive. I look forward to that being over with. And I think that some reparations should be made because, well, honestly, they have had the full force of the government making their life miserable, and I'm sure it can be proved. And it should be. And the people who perpetrated that crime against the people of the United States, I believe, would be a treasonous assault against the citizenry because they were choosing a governmental perspective over another, when in all actuality, this is supposed to be a free country where people have freedom of choice and freedom of thought and freedom of action, so long as it does not interfere with anybody else's personal liberty. And that has been violated by so many people against so many more people. And that's what's wrong. And that's what Americans are sick and tired and fed up with.
Yep.
Chad says, isn't it crazy when you really think about it? We pay for things God gave us for free. Hey, you know what? That's exactly what the thought process was for a majority of this nation's existence.
Yeah.
This was God given.
Yeah.
Mike says they're trying to get rid of the farmers so we can eat the bugs. Yes, they want us to eat the bugs. Aaron says, so I found people here that have these small diameter wells, like 6 to 10 inches or something. Wells here are 200 plus feet deep, but it's easy to do. Can buy a rig for 10,000 or less.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have 10,000.
That there is a rain catch, and that's no joke if you use roofs. Yeah, I know that in Arizona you can catch a lot of water, believe it or not. You just better have a lot of cistern space.
Yeah.
Yeah, no bugs. No eatsy bugs.
No eatsy bugs.
No.
No bugs.
Although I think locusts are kosher.
Yeah.
Yeah, just find out what the kosher ones are. You'll be fine.
I'm still not eating them. Are you ready?
Yes.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Rockefeller school system wasn't built for free thinkers. What?
Let's listen.
So let me get this straight. We're supposed to send our children, our most precious gift, off at just the age of 5 to a government institution where they sit in a desk for 8 hours a day under flickering fluorescent lights, eating processed slop in a cafeteria while being taught fake history, forced to memorize useless facts, and punished for thinking differently. It's almost as if they aren't being taught to think, but are being trained to obey. Raise your hand to speak, stand in line, don't question the rules. That sounds a lot like another place where inmates are locked in cells all day, told when they can eat, and silenced if they question authority. That other place is prison. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The Rockefellers, the same family that hijacked our medical system 100 years ago, also helped fund and shape our modern day education system, not to empower our children, but to create obedient workers that serve the system without question. And don't just take my word for it. John D. Rockefeller said it himself. I don't want a nation of free thinkers. I want a nation of workers. So ask yourself, was the school system created for the benefit of our children or for the power and control of those who created it? I don't know. I'm just a conspiracy theorist.
Thoughts?
Well, this is something that we've talked about quite frequently here, that the school system was designed to create a bunch of workers. I'd rather have 100 men giving me 1% of their work than one person giving me 100% of his work. And the reason for that is if somebody's giving you 100% and you're not giving them everything that they deserve, they're going to think and go off and go do their own thing and kick your ass. And that's the real problem is so many people just don't want competition because they don't know how to think themselves. That's why they like people who don't think. The problem is once you start unleashing the human mind, that their entire system will be crushed by an organization or group of companies that finally stand up and say enough is enough, and we can do it better than the East India Trading Company has been doing it for us this entire time. It is time for a change. It's time for America to start thinking again. It's going to be difficult to get people to start using their brains. It might even cause headaches, but that's okay because growth isn't always easy, but it's the growth we need. And I believe it's the growth we're headed towards because President Trump does seem to be helping us get our freedom back. And once we figure out that we're free again, then there is no stopping this nation because we have been free thinkers and it's in our blood. It's in our bloodstream. And that's because it's just what this land has always been. We are not Europe. We are not anywhere else on this planet. This is America, and America requires people to think and act differently than it does back over there in socialist la la land in Europe. So once the chains are taken off of us, watch out because we will show the world how great America and the American experiment really is. So that way the rest of the world will have the shining example with which they can follow. And then we can save places like England and the rest of Europe because those people deserve to be free just as much as every other human being does throughout Africa, all of Asia, down into South America and over to Australia and who knows whatever's on Antarctica now. Anyways, Steph says, well, have you ever noticed schoolhouses look a little like prisons? Look how the lunchroom looks. Think about how the prison lunchroom looks. I've heard that. And it's even the same trays is what I've heard. It is a prison training camp. And I want our children to not have to live the same way that we have had to live our lives. Yeah. Sea Strike says, we never had freedom. It's pathetic. Glad I'm awake. Yeah, and I'm glad so much more of America is waking up too, because as more and more Americans wake up, we can actually be free.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know it's going to be a lot better than what we got.
Exactly.
American.
You ready?
I need an eagle.
I know.
Even though eagles don't sound like the eagle sound.
I know. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
If your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. We all know that one person, right? They probably get on your nerves. Let's be honest. Like life can be falling apart and they're like, it's going to be okay. And you just want to punch them. But you got to understand, like God has placed it in them. They are an encourager. God put that in them so that you don't give up. Here's what the devil does. The devil tries to twist everything. Oh, you got a talent. That talent is yours. That don't belong to God. You can sing, you can do these things, or you could help people. Listen, that belongs to you. That's your skill set. You trained in this. This all belongs to you. Why don't you use it for yourself instead of just giving it all away to the church? Giving it all away to God. See, I know a lot of people. I'm telling you, I know a lot of people. I had a conversation recently with somebody who looks like they have it all together on the outside. Money, they're known. They got a great position. They get to travel the world. Depressed. Anxiety. Fear. Because of not being in the Word of God, feeling lost, even though they have everything that we thought would make our life happy.
Thoughts?
We're all given God-given gifts, and we should take advantage of those. It's like the parable of the talents. Don't bury your talents. Put them out there. Utilize what you've been given. If it's to sing, sing. If it's to inspire, then inspire. If it's to make to help people see the light a little bit better, if it's to preach, whatever the case is, do what you know that you're here to do, because those are the things that need to happen, so that way people do have the opportunity to get out from underneath this system that we're at. Because as long as we're not living in alignment with what God had intended for us, it can never get better. So make sure that you're putting that effort into the God-given gifts and talents that you have. Just make sure you're doing it with love.
Amen.
The way we've been asked to do, kind of
That's what we're supposed to do.
the whole Christian thing. You may have heard of
Love
it.
your neighbor.
Yeah, love your neighbor.
What are the 2 greatest commandments?
Love God and love your neighbor as you love yourself.
There you go.
Yep.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All righty.
Marcus Aurelius told himself, "Remind yourself what you've been through and what you've had the strength to endure. Too often we forget the mountains we have climbed and the rivers we have crossed, and while we overlook our battles, both big and small, we also overlook the strength we've gathered to overcome them." Aurelius reminds you to think of the moments when you felt overwhelmed, when the weight of the world seemed unbearable. Yet here you are, standing and enduring. So as you face down new challenges, let these memories not weigh you down, but lift you up. For in remembering what we have endured, we find the power to face what lies ahead.
Thoughts?
All the challenges we've been through. Guess what? We're still here standing. We've survived them all. Just because you go through a challenge, a storm, a Job season, whatever you want to call it, struggles, doesn't mean you're not going to make it through the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. We have found our tribe here, and everybody here loves with all their heart. And I can tell you that absolutely positively everyone in this chat, everyone watching, everyone that can hear my voice right now has gone through challenges, has gone through that Job season. But God is there with you, walking along with you, making sure you're okay. So as you go through the challenges, remember, you've already made it through 100% of all of them. Don't give up now. Turn to God, run to the cross, and know that everything's going to be okay. Seasoning.
All right. Very well said. Thank you very much. Really, every challenge that we've been given in life, you've made it through 100% of the things that have come at you so far in this life, correct? I think we've all made it at least to this point. And those challenges that you've had have been some pretty serious ones. I can say that without having, looked any of you in the eye. I'd say that you've had some very difficult times and challenges in your life. And those challenges, you have made it through each and every one of those things. So what makes you think that you can't continue to make it through the challenges that have been put in front of you at this point in time in your life? Are you supposed to overcome these challenges with strength and vigor? Not necessarily, but that strength is on the inside. And maybe that's what you're really supposed to be working on, is that inner strength. It's that inner strength that helps you make sure that you can make it through all of these other things. And as you make it through more and more challenges in life, and as you put your faith in our Creator to help you through those, you will get reassured. You will be able to make it through them. Everything happens for a reason, and it's all done so that way we have the opportunity and the ability to grow. It doesn't mean that it's going to be fun or exciting, but it does mean that you're a survivor. It means that you are a fighter and that you can make it through the challenges that are put in front of you now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. None of us, let me think about it. Mike died twice.
Yeah, right.
And he's still here, giving hope to everyone he knows.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I love this. I love this.
Yeah,
group.
y'all are amazing. We love all of you. Thank you very much.
I missed you guys so much this weekend. Not gonna lie.
NGL. All right. All right, everybody. Well, I think that pretty much brings this one to a close for tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Locals, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on Facebook, you got like 7 choices. So clickety click away.
Clickety click, and the rest of them too. Yeah, click away, everybody.
Click away.
All right. Well, we love absolutely each and every one of you, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Everybody, I hope that you have a great night. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you.